It was the year 751 AD, deep in the heart of the Tang Dynasty's sprawling realm. The empire stretched like a dragon's spine from the eastern seas to the jagged peaks of the Pamirs, its silk roads pulsing with the lifeblood of trade. Shimmering bolts of silk, spices that burned the tongue like dragonfire, and porcelain so fine it whispered secrets to the light. Chang'an, the glittering capital, was a cacophony of 1,000,000 souls. Merchants from Persia haggling over lapis lazuli, Sogdian traders with eyes like polished jade, and Buddhist monks chanting sutras amid the incense haze of gilded temples. But beyond the city's jade gates lay the true wilds, where the Taklamakan desert swallowed armies whole, and the Tian Shan mountains guarded forgotten kingdoms. Elara Voss, a young Frankish noblewoman from the distant Carolingian court of Charlemagne, had no business being there. Born in 732 AD in the misty forests of Aachen, she was the daughter of a minor count, raised on tales of Alexander's conquests and the exotic East whispered by Byzantine envoys. At 19, with hair like spun gold and eyes the color of a northern sea, Elara was no fragile flower. Her father, a scholar of Roman histories, had taught her Latin, Greek, and the rudiments of astronomy from Ptolemy's Almagest, but it was her unquenchable thirst for the unknown that drove her to disguise herself as a boy, Elias, the wandering apprentice, and join a Byzantine merchant caravan bound for the Silk Road. The caravan snaked out of Constantinople in 749 AD, a ribbon of 200 camels laden with glassware, silver icons, and Frankish swords forged in the Rhine forges. They crossed the Bosphorus, braved Anatolian bandits, and skirted the Abbasid frontiers, where the Umayyad Caliphate had crumbled just years before, in 750 AD's bloody revolution. Elara, clad in rough wool and a felt cap, kept her head down, her secret guarded by a dagger at her belt and a fluency in Greek honed from childhood. Meanwhile, in the east, Kaidu al Rashid was rising like a desert storm. Born in 730 AD to a noble Sogdian family in Samarkand, once the jewel of the Sassanid Empire before Arab conquests, he was a polymath warrior. Sogdians, those Indo-European masters of trade, dominated the Silk Road with their caravan networks, speaking a language akin to ancient Persian and worshipping a syncretic blend of Zoroastrian fire, Manichaean dualism, and Nestorian Christianity. Kaidu's father commanded 1,000 camels, ferrying Tang silks to Baghdad. But Kaidu dreamed bigger, of uniting the steppe tribes against the encroaching Arabs and Tang alike. Tall and broad-shouldered, with hawkish features, raven hair bound in a warrior's topknot, and a scimitar etched with Sogdian runes, he rode at the head of his band, his mind a forge of strategies drawn from Sun Tzu's Art of War and Xenophon's Anabasis. Their worlds collided at Talas, a dusty oasis in the shadow of the Tian Shan, on July 10, 751 AD. The Battle of Talas was no mere skirmish, it was the fulcrum where East met West, Islam met papermaking, and fate wove its silken threads. The Tang general Gao Xianzi, a Korean-born commander of Turkish extraction, led 30,000 troops, cavalry from the Fergana Valley with their famed heavenly horses, crossbowmen drilled in the Wujing Zongyao military manual, and cataphracts armored like iron fortresses. Opposing them, 50,000 Abbasid Arabs under Ziyad ibn Saleh, bolstered by Tibetan allies and Karluk Turkish mercenaries who would betray the Tang mid-battle. Elara's caravan had been requisitioned by Gao Xianzi weeks earlier, their goods fueling the army's march from Kashgar. She rode as Elias, tending horses and sketching maps from overheard officers' talk. Her real mission, a letter from Charlemagne's court seeking Tang alliance against the rising Umayyads. Amid the camp's chaos, she first saw Kaidu. He was a Karluk auxiliary leader, nominally allied to the Tang, but scheming his own play. Their eyes met across a firelit circle where warriors diced knucklebones and sang of lost loves. "You draw like a scribe of the stars," he said in halting Greek, nodding to her parchment. His voice was gravel and honey, scented with cardamom. Elara froze, heart pounding. "And you fight like a demon from the Shahnameh," she replied, her boy's tunic hiding the flush. That night, as war drums echoed, they talked. Kaidu spoke of Sogdian epics, the Varkuman inscriptions at Afrasiab praising his ancestors' trade empires. Elara countered with Virgil's Aeneid, reciting lines under a canopy of stars mapped by al-Sufi precursors. Sparks flew, forbidden and fierce. Dawn broke with arrows blackening the sky. The Tang crossbows thundered, mowing down Arab footmen in disciplined volleys, a technology refined since the Warring States era. Gao's cavalry charged, their Nicaean horses thundering across the Talas River's banks. But betrayal struck. The Karluks, smelling Kang weakness after Tibetan probes, turned coats. Kaidu, torn between loyalty and ambition, held his band back, then saw Elara in the fray, her disguise slipping as she bandaged a wounded archer. "Protect the Frank," Gao bellowed, mistaking her value. Arrows whistled. Kaidu spurred his steed, shielding her with his body. An Arab lance grazed his side, but he cleaved the lancer's helm with one stroke. Chaos reigned. Tang gunpowder bombs, early precursors to true explosives, packed with saltpeter and sulfur, burst in acrid clouds, while Arab engineers hurled naphtha grenades imported from Byzantium. By dusk, the Tang lines buckled. Gao fled with 10,000 survivors, abandoning siege engines and scrolls. The Abbasids triumphed, but the true prize was unintended. Captured Tang papermakers revealed the secret of paper production, a craft born in Luoyang in 105 AD from Kai Lun's mulberry bark experiments. This knowledge would reach Baghdad by 794 AD, fueling the Islamic Golden Age, and eventually Europe via Spain. In the aftermath, Kaidu found Elara amid the wounded, her cap lost, golden hair spilling free. "Elias," he whispered, eyes widening. "Elara," she corrected, voice steady despite fear. Arab pursuers closed in. Kaidu scooped her onto his horse, galloping into the Tian Shan's labyrinth. They rode 3 days, evading patrols through passes where Alexander's men once froze in 329 BC. In a hidden cave near Issyk-Kul Lake, site of Scythian gold burials from 500 BC, they collapsed, wounds festering. There, in firelight flickering on petroglyphs of ancient horsemen, passion ignited. Kaidu unbound her wounds with gentle hands, tracing the curve of her shoulder. "You are no boy, but a goddess from the west, like the Amesha Spenta of my fathers." His lips met hers, tentative then fierce, tasting of salt and steppe wind. Elara, starved for touch amid years of disguise, pulled him close, their bodies entwining on furs soft as Samarkand wool. It was a love raw and elemental, his calloused warrior's frame against her lithe scholar's form, breaths mingling like rivers at confluence. In that cave, empires faded, only hearts beat in thunderous rhythm, a symphony of moans echoing ancient rites. But dawn brought peril. Kaidu's band, loyalists fleeing the battle, found them. "Traitor," spat his second, Timur, eyeing Elara. Karluk's revered warrior codes from the Orkhan inscriptions, etched in 732 AD by Bilge Khagan, honor above all. Kaidu slew Timur in single combat, scimitar flashing like lightning over Issyk-Kul's turquoise waters. "She is my oath," he declared, and half the band swore fealty. Their odyssey began. West to Samarkand, then south to Baghdad, north to the vulgar Bulgars. Elara's knowledge of Frankish steel and Ptolemaic maps complemented Kaidu's Sogdian networks. They traded secrets, Tang silk recipes swapped for Abbasid astrolabes, precursors to those used by al-Fazari in 762 AD. In Merv, the queen of cities, with its 100,000 souls and libraries rivaling Alexandria's, they posed as merchants. There, amid bazaars hawking coconuts from India and ivory from Africa, their love deepened. Nights in hammams steamed with rosewater, bodies slick and urgent, whispers of eternity amid marble arches. Yet pursuit shadowed. Gao Xianzi, disgraced but vengeful, sent Tang assassins. Abbasid spies hunted the Golden Witch, rumored to steal paper secrets. In 752 AD, at the walls of Bukhara, fortress of the Samanids, they ambushed. Kaidu fought like a jinn, blade parrying straight Tang swords. Elara, no damsel, loosed a Frankish crossbow, felling 2 foes. Bloodied, they escaped on stolen Karlik horses, galloping into the Kizil-Kum desert. Thirst clawed. They stumbled upon a Nestorian monastery, heirs to the Church of the East founded by Thomas in 52 AD. Monks, speaking Syriac and Sogdian, sheltered them, sharing venom from Persian vines and tales of Marco Polo's future paths. Here, Elara confessed her mission, Charlemagne's letter seeking silk and horses for his wars against Saxons, who fell at Verdun in 782 AD with 4,500 heads. Kaidu laughed, dark eyes gleaming. Then we forge an empire of our own. Their nights burned hotter, Elara astride him under starlit domes, nails raking his back like eagle talons, cries muffled by silk pillows. Love was their compass, fierce as the Zoroastrian flame they lit in homage. By 754 AD, they reached the Black Sea's shores, trading in Cherson, Byzantine outpost where Justinian's Corpus Juris Civilis still bound law. Elara shed her disguise fully, clad in Sogdian silks that hugged her form like a lover's gaze. Kaidu gifted her a necklace of Fergana jade, mined since Qin Shi Huang's era. But fate twisted. In Constantinople, Emperor Constantine V, iconoclast ruler amid 754 AD's council condemning images, imprisoned them as Tang spies. Dungeons reeked of Byzantine intrigue. Leo III's 717 AD victory over Arabs had hardened the empire. Elara's Latin saved them, charming a guard versed in Boethius. Freed, they sailed west on a dromon warship, oars churning like the 100 triremes at Salamis in 480 BC. Storms battered, echoes of Odysseus, but they reached Aachen in 756 AD, Charlemagne's nascent court buzzing with Pippin the Short's 751 AD crowning. Charlemagne, towering at 6'4" with red gold beard, embraced Elara as prodigal kin. You've brought the East's fire. Her maps aided his campaigns. Tang horses bolstered his heavy cavalry at Roncesvalles in 778 AD. Kaidu, baptized as a Frankish knight but true to his gods, became Count Kai, forging alliances with Volga traders who introduced Islam there by 922 AD. Their love endured winters in Aachen's oak halls, feasts of roast boar and mead. Elara bore a son, Alaric, in 758 AD, blending Frankish vigor with Sogdian guile. Nights were symphonies, Kaidu's hands mapping her like undiscovered stars, her lips tracing scars from Talas. You are my silk road, he murmured, bodies merging in candlelit ecstasy, slow and profound as river carving stone. Yet history's shadow loomed. In 762 AD, Abbasid Caliph al-Mansur founded Baghdad on paper scrolls Elara's captives had gifted indirectly. Tang an Lushan rebellion in 755 AD fractured the east, echoing their flight. Kaidu yearned homeward. In 768 AD, Charlemagne crowned co-emperor. They sailed east again, through Venice, rising from Lombard ruins, past 751 AD's Pavia siege. Back on Silk Roads, now patrolled by Tibetan Empire at its zenith under Trisong Detsen. Samarkand welcomed them as legends. Kaidu united Sogdian city-states against Arab governors, his forces blending Tang crossbows and Frankish stirrups, iron stirrups introduced to Europe via Avars from steppe migrations post-558 AD. Elara advised, her astronomy refining Sogdian almanacs predating al-Khwarizmi's Zig in 825 AD. Their pinnacle, 775 AD Siege of Tashkent, amid catapults hurling Greek fire, formula from Constantine VII's lost texts, Kaidu charged, Elara at her side with captured Abbasid banners. Victory. Tashkent's walls, built on Kushan foundations from 1st century AD, flew their hybrid banner, Frankish eagle over Zoroastrian slame. In the citadel, under murals of Rostam slaying divs from Firdausi's future epic, they consummated triumph. Elara's gown pulled like moonlight, Kaidu's armor clattering aside. Their union was poetry,
urgent thrusts yielding to languid caresses, gasps harmonizing with wind through lattice screens. Alaric, now 17, watched as heir. But tragedy struck. In 780 AD, poisoned wine from Gao Shanzi's dying agents felled Kaidu. He perished in Elara's arms, whispering, "Our road endless." Elara ruled as regent. Her wisdom forged the Voss-Kaidu Accords in 782 AD, peace linking Charlemagne's envoys to Tang recovery under Dezong. She lived to 810 AD, dying in Samarkand, buried with Kaidu amid Offersab tombs. Their legacy? Paper spread revolutionized Carolingian Renaissance. Alcuin scriptories turned Carolingian minuscules from Tang models. Stirrups and horses transformed Frankish knights, enabling 800 AD's crowning. Sogdian trade boomed, precursors to Byzantine dominance. And so, from one arrow at Talas, empires shifted, knowledge flowed, and a love eternal burned, a hook in history's vast tapestry, pulling east and west into forever's embrace.